where they were looking at the economy, and particular how Nikki No Boats is doing and what people think of her. So let's have a look at the second part of that conversation, and I will text Spides and see if we can get her back on.
Our One News Verian poll has also revealed many New Zealanders aren't sure Nicola Willis will be able to sort out the economy. Here's senior political reporter Benedict Collins with the results.
Why would they wonder that? I mean, an English graduate, why would they think an English graduate couldn't sort out the economy? They're basically transferable skills, aren't they? Yeah, I think so.
In Nelson, they're feeling the pinch.
That businesses, are increasingly looking at their costs, they're looking at their bottom line. They're not necessarily investing because they're not certain about how things are going to pan out.
They'd love it if the government would give their new hospital the green light.
When we get those big central government investments in what essentially are regional economic development projects that become uncertain, that creates uncertainty because nobody's willing to crew up and staff up and train for a project that might not happen.
The government's
100%.
promising 2025 is all about...
It's about growth, growth, growth.
And Nicola Willis is in charge of delivery. But we're in difficult times.
We've got an economy that's really tough for a lot of New Zealanders right now. There's many people who are struggling to keep up with their bills and they want to see progress.
Because I just want to remind you guys, right, this is the person who told us when she was earning hundreds of thousands of dollars, I can't remember the exact number, but 250-ish plus as deputy leader of the opposition, that she could do with a $20 a week, $40 a week tax cut because she could finally take her kids to the movies. Now, her husband, who's not in the limelight, we don't need to get it, but he's a director in a business. He's pretty high up in business. There's definitely a six-figure salary there, even if it's low six figures. So they at that stage were likely putting together $300-400K per annum. And she was talking about tax cuts being good, $20-40 a week, because she'd then be able to go to the movies with her kids. If you can't manage your budget on hundreds of thousands of dollars to take your kids out for a $50, $80, $100 night at the movies, then why the hell would anyone want you in charge of our money? Makes no sense to me whatsoever.
On that front.
In our One News Verian poll, we asked if people were confident that Nicola Willis would be able to deliver good economic growth. Just over a third thought she could. Half are not confident that she can. The rest weren't sure.
Now, what we don't know about that, sorry, I'll go back a smidge. What we don't know about that, though, unfortunately, is it because they're not sure because they don't think anyone could? Or is it because they're not confident because it's Nicola Willis? We don't know that from this, so there's a gap in the outcome of this. But I guess what they're saying, if you were confident that the government was going to make things better, then you'd be confident that she would be able to make things better. So I guess this might even be more of a commentary on the government itself rather than just Nicola Willis. But yes, we shall go on. I think Spiderhoof's come back, so let's see if we've got Spiderhoof, you with us? I don't know what's going on with Spiderhoof, but we'll keep playing.
You can. The rest weren't sure.
What would you say to New Zealanders who are sceptical that you're going to be able to deliver economic growth?
I'd say to them, I get it. It is tough.
There's something about how she responds when she's trying to be relatable. I get it. There's a tone, remember the second-hand Corolla. There's something about her tone and her intonation. It feels fake when she wants to relate. Fake to relate. Nicola Willis, and she does it here, and she changes the way she speaks, and her mouth goes a bit wider, and it's almost like the thin lip thing. But I'm not casting aspersions on her physicalness. I'm just saying there's a complete change when she goes from being quite factual to trying to relate, and I find it not grating, but I don't find it authentic or genuine.
You can. The rest weren't sure.
What would you say to New Zealanders who are sceptical that you're going to be able to deliver economic growth?
I'd say to them, I get it. It is tough for you right now. But my job is to make sure that things get better.
Weren't your tax cuts supposed to make things better?
Good question. Tax cuts were the answers, weren't they? That's what we got told.
Well, look, if we hadn't had tax relief, things would be a lot worse for many families.
I wouldn't be able to take my kids to the movies, for example.
This economist has some tips
Mr.
for a more
Bagri.
dynamic economy.
There's a whole lot of sectors where I don't think there's sufficient competitive pressure, whether you look at fuel companies, whether you look at the building sector, whether you look at banking. If you don't have competitive pressures, then consumers end up paying the price on the other side.
Labor has its doubts that Nicola Willis will deliver growth,
Nicola Willis is clearly out of her depth.
poking fun at her record on delivering ferries.
What's Nicola Willis more likely to replace this year? The inter-island ferries or him as Prime Minister?
It's funny, actually, because before the election, are you there, Spides? Call out if you are. We're just kind of pushing stuff around till we get you back. No? Yes? No? No? Okay. I do remember before the election, some of us were quite impressed with her, with Nikki Noboats' sort of skill set in politics. She appeared to be better than Christopher Luxon, and it was a pretty clear consensus that people were saying, oh, she'll take over, she'll be next. But I don't know. I think that with time, we have seen, I guess, the worst of her. With time, she has shown less ability rather than more, in my opinion. We'll get to the end of the story, shall we?
Well, I'm incredibly proud of a great Minister of Finance and an awesome Minister of Economic Growth.
It seems many New Zealanders, though...
That's CEO Luxon. You've got this now, A-Team. That's CEO Luxon basically talking up his department manager who's struggling, but they want to make sure that the department head, that the CEO's got their back. That's what that line is. That's not a politician talking, that's a CEO talking. And as we all know with CEOs, they blow smoke to make sure that no matter how much shit is smeared into their product, they want everyone to know it's perfect just the way it is, and there's nothing better than it. That's what he brings out all the time.
Are still in need of convincing. Benedict Collins, One News.
Nicola offers a poor effort at feigning empathy. Yeah, I know it's kind of not, it's not good form to really pick up on someone's appearance and stuff, and it's not about that. It's not about the appearance. It's about it's her character changes, and it's just, it always takes a deep breath in. Look, I know, it's got a vibe to it which just doesn't feel authentic.